God's message: your tears are not wasted. Life has a strange way of testing the strongest hearts, not with loud storms or visible battles, but with silent struggles, those pains that hide behind a forced smile, behind long nights, behind a tired, "I'm fine." For Elena, the pain had become a quiet companion. Elena was the kind of person who loved deeply. She loved her family, her friends, her work. She believed in kindness, in honesty, in doing the right thing even when no one was watching. But life, for reasons she could not understand, kept pushing her into darker corners. One by one, things began to fall apart. Her relationship ended without explanation. Her closest friend betrayed her trust. Her job became unstable. Her father's health grew worse day by day, and inside her heart, the voice of hope grew smaller. Every night she would sit by the window, staring at the empty streetlights outside, thinking, why does everything hurt? Why does nothing change? Does God even see me anymore? Sometimes she wished someone would simply sit beside her and say, I know you're hurting. But the world looked busy. Everyone had their own battles. And Elena, like many others, was learning the painful art of suffering silently. Her tears fell quietly, landing on her blanket, disappearing as quickly as they came. But what she didn't know yet, not a single one of those tears had been ignored. Her breaking point one evening, she returned from the hospital after spending hours with her father. His condition was getting worse. The doctors asked her to prepare her heart. Those words kept echoing in her mind. Prepare your heart, they had said. But how do you prepare your heart for losing someone who taught you how to love? She lay on her bed, the room silent except for the soft hum of the ceiling fan. Her chest felt tight, as if the grief inside her wanted to burst out. When she tried to hold back the tears, they overpowered her. She cried into her pillow until it was soaked. She whispered broken prayers. God, why? Why does this hurt so much? Why am I losing so much at once? Do you even hear me? Are you even with me? And then came the question she feared the most. Or, am I completely alone now? In that vulnerable moment, Elena didn't want answers. She just wanted to feel held. She wanted someone, anyone, to tell her that her pain mattered, that her tears were not invisible. But the walls remained silent, the night remained cold, and her heart remained heavy. But heaven was not silent. Just because she couldn't hear God didn't mean He wasn't speaking. Just because she couldn't feel Him didn't mean He wasn't working. And just because she couldn't see change didn't mean change wasn't coming. In heaven, her name was known. Her tears were seen, her pain was counted, and her prayers were stored like precious drops of gold. The scriptures say, God collects your tears in a bottle. Elena didn't know this verse, but her soul was living it. While she cried on earth, heaven was preparing an answer. A whisper in the dark. Elena eventually cried herself to sleep. But at some point in the night, she suddenly woke up, her heart pounding, breath shaking, not because of a nightmare, but because the room felt different. She sat up slowly, wiping her eyes. The air felt warmer, softer, as if the darkness had been replaced by something gentle. Then she heard it, not with her ears, but deep inside her heart, a calm, warm, fatherly voice. My child, your tears are not wasted. Elena froze. She wasn't dreaming. She wasn't imagining this. This voice felt too real, too loving, too peaceful to be her own. The voice continued. Every tear you shed is seen. Every pain you carry is known. Every silent prayer you whisper reaches me. Her heart trembled. She had never felt something so intimate, so safe. You think I am far away, the voice said, but I am closer than your breath. A single tear ran down her cheek, not of pain, but of relief. God reveals the truth. As she listened, the voice grew clearer, almost like a warm light forming inside her chest. You cry alone at night, but I am beside you. You break in silence, but I hold every shattered piece. You feel forgotten, but you are engraved on my hands. She covered her mouth with her hand, sobbing softly. For the first time in months, the tears didn't feel heavy. They felt healing. God continued, your tears are not signs of weakness. They are seeds, and in due time, they will bloom into blessings. Elena didn't understand how. She didn't see any blessing. All she saw was heartbreak. But the voice gently said, when you cried, you were not falling apart. You were being transformed. Every tear is shaping you for what I have written for your life. She whispered, God, will things ever get better? The answer was instant. Better than you expect, and sooner than you think. But you must trust my timing. A divine promise. The presence in the room grew warmer, like someone wrapping her with invisible arms. You think your tears are wasted, God said, but I use every one of them to strengthen you, to prepare you, to guide you, to build a testimony inside you that will inspire thousands. She couldn't stop crying now, not in sadness, but in pure release. God continued, do not regret the nights you cried. Do not regret the moments you felt broken, for every tear watered the soil of your future miracles. Then came the words that changed her life forever. Your story is not ending. It is beginning. The room slowly returned to normal. The warm presence faded, but something in Elena had changed. For the first time in months, she felt hope. Elena woke up the next morning with a softness inside her chest, a feeling she had not experienced in months. It wasn't joy. No, that was too far away. It was something quieter, something fragile, something holy. It was hope, a small hope, a trembling hope, but hope nonetheless. As the sunlight slipped gently through her curtains, she whispered to herself, that voice, it felt real. Was it really you, God? She didn't know how to explain it. She didn't know how to prove it. But her heart knew. Something had reached her last night, something divine. And when God touches a heart, something always begins to shift. The silent changes begin. The world around Elena didn't magically transform overnight. The bills were still there. Her father was still sick. Her job was still uncertain. But something inside her had changed. Her tears no longer felt like signs of defeat. They felt like part of a process, part of a story much bigger than her pain. She got out of bed slowly, washed her face, and caught her own reflection in the mirror. Her eyes looked tired, but there was a new softness in them, like they carried a spark of light from another world. For the first time, she whispered, maybe God hasn't forgotten me. The day takes an unexpected turn. At noon, Elena received a call, not from the hospital, not from her landlord, but from her old friend, Miriam. Someone Elena thought had forgotten her. Hey, Miriam said gently, I don't know why, but you came to my mind today. Are you okay? Just those words were enough to make Elena exhale shakily, because the night before she had cried, God, I just want someone to understand me again. And here it was, the very next day, not a miracle, not a breakthrough, but a sign, a whisper from heaven saying, I heard you. A heart-to-heart conversation. When Miriam came over, Elena hesitated at first. She didn't want to seem weak, but as soon as Miriam placed a hand on her shoulder, Elena broke down. All the pain she had hidden, all the loneliness she had buried, all the exhaustion she had swallowed, came pouring out like a flood. Through her tears, she confessed, I don't know who I am anymore. I feel like everything I touch falls apart. I feel like God doesn't hear me. Miriam held her tightly and whispered, "Elena, God heard you long before you even cried." Those words pierced her heart gently, like a warm light entering a dark room. "Last night," Elena whispered, wiping her tears, "I felt a voice inside me, telling me my tears are not wasted." Miriam smiled softly, her voice calm and steady. "That wasn't your imagination. When the soul is at its breaking point, God always speaks." The power of being seen. The comfort of that conversation lingered in Elena's heart long after Miriam left. It didn't fix everything, but it reminded her of something sacred. Nothing heals a hurting heart faster than the feeling of being seen. God had seen her, and He had sent someone to remind her she wasn't invisible. That night, Elena prayed again, not with despair, but with sincerity. "God, if you really are with me, help me to take just one step at a time." And heaven whispered back, "One step is all I ask." The father's condition suddenly shifts. The next day, Elena accompanied her father to the hospital again. The waiting room felt familiar. Cold chairs, quiet families, and the smell of disinfectant in the air. Her heart pounded when the doctor called them in. She braced herself for the worst, but instead the doctor smiled and said, "His reports look unexpectedly better today." Unexpectedly better. Two words powerful enough to bring tears to Elena's eyes. The doctor continued, "Whatever we are doing, his body is responding. It's not a miracle yet, but it's a very promising sign." Elena didn't need a miracle that day, just a sign, a confirmation that God was still writing her story. As she helped her father walk, his hand squeezed hers gently. "I don't know why," he whispered, "but I feel like God is giving me strength today." Elena's eyes filled with tears again, this time not of fear, but of gratitude. "Your tears are not wasted." The heavenly voice echoed softly in her heart. She believed it now. The battle within. But healing isn't a straight line, and faith isn't always strong. That night, lying in bed, Elena felt waves of fear return. What if the good news doesn't last? What if things fall apart again? What if I'm just getting hopeful for nothing? These thoughts came sharp and fast, stabbing her peace. She clutched her blanket and whispered, "God, I'm trying, but I'm scared." And then it happened again. That same warm presence, that same gentle whisper inside her soul. "My child, do not confuse delay with denial." Her breathing slowed. "You see only the pain of the moment, but I see the purpose it is shaping." She felt something invisible wipe the tears off her face. "You cry because you think the story is ending, but I am only turning the page." Her heartbeat steadied, her fear softened. She whispered into the quiet room, "Then help me trust you." The answer came instantly, "I already am." Small blessings begin. Appearing over the next few days, little pieces of hope kept appearing like scattered petals, leading toward a hidden garden. Her father's condition kept improving slowly. Her boss, who had been distant, suddenly appreciated her last project. An old client reached out with a small freelance job. A neighbor dropped off dinner unexpectedly on a day she felt too tired to cook. A stranger smiled at her at the cafe, giving her the warmth she didn't know she needed. Small things, little things, but meaningful things. Elena realized something profound. Breakthroughs don't always arrive like storms. Sometimes they arrive like morning light, quiet, soft, and steady. A message from God. Through a stranger one afternoon, while waiting at the pharmacy for her father's medicines, she sat beside an elderly man. His eyes were kind, his posture gentle. Without any introduction, he said, "Sometimes God delays things because He's preparing something better." Elena froze. Those were the exact words she needed to hear. She turned to him, surprised. "How did you know I needed that?" The man smiled softly. I didn't, but God did. Her eyes welled up. Before she could respond, her number was called. She grabbed the medicines, and when she turned back, the man was gone, as if he had appeared only to deliver a message from heaven. Realization begins to bloom. That night, when Elena sat near her window again, she didn't feel the same loneliness she once did. She realized something beautiful. Every tear she had shed had moved heaven. She was being rebuilt from the inside. Not quickly, not dramatically, but deeply. She whispered, God, maybe my tears really weren't wasted. The wind outside rustled gently, almost like an answer, and inside her heart, she heard the same soft whisper. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one moment of pain is wasted. I am working in ways you cannot yet see. Elena finally believed it. A new chapter was unfolding, slowly, softly, beautifully, and God was turning every tear into the foundation of her upcoming miracle. When God begins to restore what you lost, change doesn't always walk into your life with loud footsteps. Sometimes it enters quietly, like a gentle breeze slipping through an open window. And that's exactly how it came into Elena's life. Softly, silently, almost unnoticeably. For the first time in months, the mornings didn't feel heavy. Her chest didn't hurt with suffocating fear. Her heart didn't feel like it was sinking into darkness. Instead, she woke up each day with a fragile but steady whisper inside her. I am not alone. It was the kind of realization that reshapes a person from the inside out. A new light in her father's eyes. One morning, when Elena walked into her father's room with his breakfast, she noticed something different. He was sitting up, not with struggle, but with energy. His eyes looked clearer, his posture straighter, his smile warmer. Good morning, sweetheart, he said with a voice that carried new strength. Elena stood frozen for a moment. He hadn't sounded this alive in weeks. You're looking better today, she said softly, trying not to overwhelm him. He chuckled, leaning back. I had a dream last night, he said. A strange one. I dreamt God was sitting beside my bed. He didn't speak. He just placed his hand on my chest. And I felt warmth. Since then, I've been breathing easier. Elena's heart trembled. Her father didn't know what she had experienced. He didn't know the voice she had heard. He didn't know how God had whispered healing into her darkness. And yet, he had felt the same presence. It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't imagination. It was confirmation. Tears welled in her eyes. But this time, they were tears of recognition. God was weaving threads of healing throughout her life, even when she didn't notice each stitch. A sudden opportunity. A few days later, something unexpected happened at work. Her manager called her into the office, his expression unreadable. Elena, he said, we've been reviewing your past work. You've consistently delivered high-quality results, even during difficult periods. Elena blinked, confused. He continued, I want to give you a new role. Higher position, better pay, more stability. She stared at him, absolutely stunned. But I thought the company was downsizing, she said softly. He nodded. We are, but we're keeping people who add value, and you are one of them. Elena walked out of the office with trembling hands. Days ago, she had cried on her bed believing her life was falling apart. Now suddenly, doors were opening, gently, gracefully, divinely. As she sat at her desk, staring at the letter of promotion, she whispered, God, is this you? A warm calmness spread through her heart, and she heard it again. I told you, your tears were not wasted. The lesson of the closed door. Even though good things were happening, Elena still had one wound that hadn't healed, her heartbreak. Her past relationship still sat like a stone in her chest. The memories, the promises, the sudden distance, all of it weighed on her like a silent burden. One night, unable to sleep, she went for a walk around her neighborhood. The air was cool, the streets were quiet. The moon hung above her like a gentle witness. She passed a familiar street, one she used to walk with him, and without warning, tears filled her eyes again. "Why did he leave, God?" she whispered. "What was wrong with me? Wasn't I enough?" The wind blew softly as if trying to calm her. She wiped her tears and kept walking. But the ache didn't leave. When she finally returned home, she curled on her bed and asked God with deep longing, "If my tears are not wasted, then why did this hurt so much?" The answer came, not in a voice this time, but as a clear, gentle thought. "Because I had to close that door so I could lead you to the one I opened." She felt her breath catch. The thought continued like a soft, divine whisper. Not every loss is a punishment. Some losses are protection. Her heartbeat slowed, her breathing steadied. You didn't lose him because you were unworthy. You lost him because your destiny is bigger than what he could carry. A fresh wave of tears escaped her eyes, but these tears didn't feel painful. They felt healing. Because for the first time, she saw her heartbreak not as a failure, but as a divine intervention. When God rewrites a broken heart. The next day, while at a bookshop picking up something for her father, Elena knocked into someone accidentally. Books fell from her arms. His coffee nearly spilled. It was chaotic and strangely funny. "I'm so sorry." Elena laughed nervously. No, my fault," he said, helping her gather the books. His voice was warm and polite, his smile gentle. There was kindness in his eyes, something familiar, yet refreshing. They exchanged small talk. Nothing romantic, nothing dramatic, just a human moment, light and genuine. But after they parted ways, Elena felt something unusual. Not attraction, not excitement, but peace. A quiet message from God. "See, I can bring new connections into your life without you forcing anything." She didn't know who that man was. She didn't know if she would ever see him again. But she understood the message clearly. Her heart was healing. One gentle moment at a time. A night of breakthrough days passed, and life slowly began to feel livable again. Hope had returned to her like spring after a long winter. Then one night, something extraordinary happened. Elena woke suddenly, just like she had the first time. But instead of fear, her room felt full of peace, a peace so deep that it made her soul tremble. She sat up, eyes widening, and then she felt it. A warm presence, the same presence she had felt before, but stronger, brighter, closer. Her heart slowed as she sensed a holy whisper. "My child, you're stepping into a new season." Tears filled her eyes. "Everything you cried for, I am now restoring in ways you cannot imagine." Elena covered her face, her shoulders shaking with emotion. Every tear watered the soil. The whisper continued. "Now the harvest is coming." She felt something lift from her chest, like a heavy stone rolling away. Her fear, her grief, her loneliness, gone. And in that moment, she knew. Her breakthrough wasn't coming someday. It was already happening. The following weeks unfolded like the gentle turning of pages in a beautifully written book. Nothing rushed, nothing forced, but everything perfectly timed. Elena began to walk with quiet confidence. Not because her life was perfect, not because every problem had vanished, but because she could finally feel something she had long forgotten: God's hand over her life. Even on tough days, she felt held. Even in uncertainty, she felt guided. Even in silence, she felt witnessed. Her heart once a battlefield, was becoming a garden again. A visit to the past. One afternoon, Elena walked by the old park where she used to sit before life fell apart. The bench where she once cried alone now felt different, lighter, almost sacred. She sat down, looking at the sky. This was the place where she had once whispered, "God, where are you?" Now, sitting on the same bench, she whispered, "Thank you for never leaving." And in her heart came a gentle response, "I was with you here, every time you wept." Her eyes warmed with tears, but these tears felt pure, like water washing the last dust off her soul. Just then, an elderly woman passing by stopped and smiled at her. "You look peaceful, dear," she said. Elena smiled shyly. "I'm trying to be." The woman nodded knowingly. A peaceful heart is a sign of a healed one. Elena's breath caught. She realized she was healing, truly healing, not pretending, not forcing positivity, not surviving on broken hope. She was healing in the way only God can heal a person. From the inside out. The unexpected letter. A few days later, while sorting her mailbox, Elena found an envelope with no sender name. Curious, she opened it. Inside was a handwritten note. "You don't know me, but I was in the hospital the day you sang to your father. The gentleness in your voice touched me deeply. You reminded me that faith is not shouting. Sometimes it is soft, steady, and quiet. I just wanted to say, you are stronger than you know, and your kindness is impacting strangers. Keep going. The world needs hearts like yours." Elena held the letter to her chest. She remembered that day. Her father had been in pain, and she had quietly sung a hymn to soothe him. She hadn't realized others heard her. She hadn't realized her brokenness could shine light outward. But that's the mystery of God's work. Sometimes your tears water gardens in places you've never been. The phone call that changed everything. One evening, Elena received a call from a number she didn't recognize. She hesitated before picking it up. "Hello?" A familiar voice responded, "Hi, this might sound strange. We met at the bookstore." It was the same gentle-eyed man she had bumped into days ago. "Oh, yes, I remember," she said, surprised but pleased. "I found the book we talked about," he continued. "And I just thought you might like a copy too. If you're comfortable, maybe we could meet for coffee." His tone was respectful, quiet, nothing demanding, nothing rushed, just human, just kind, just timely. Elena didn't feel butterflies. She didn't feel nervous. She felt peace, which, she realized, is often God's signature. "Sure," she replied softly. "I'd like that." After ending the call, she looked upward and whispered, "God, I think I see what you're doing." And in her soul, she felt a warm echo. "I am restoring what life took from you." The night of revelation. One night, Elena sat on her balcony, staring at the stars. The air was cool. A quiet hush covered the world. She wrapped her shawl around her shoulders and closed her eyes. Suddenly, she felt it again. That soft, divine presence. Familiar, warm, comforting. Her heart stilled, her breathing slowed, and then she heard it. "My child, you have cried enough. Now it is time to smile again." Her lips trembled, tears fell gently, slow, steady, grateful. The voice continued. "Every night you cried, I stood beside you. Every tear you shed watered the path you are now walking." Elena pressed her hand over her heart. "I used your pain to build strength. I used your tears to soften your spirit. I used your heartbreak to redirect your destiny." The divine whisper poured through her like warm honey. "Your tears were never wasted. They were investments into your future. And now, your harvest has begun." Elena sobbed, not from sorrow, but from overwhelming love. The presence then said something that felt like a seal over her life. Tell your heart to take courage. The season of sorrow is ending. The season of restoration is here. And just like that, the presence lifted, but its peace remained. A new beginning. Weeks later, Elena's father was discharged from the hospital with stable health. Her new job role brought her respect and financial stability. She reconnected with people who genuinely cared. And slowly, gently, beautifully, her heart opened again, not in desperation, not in fear, not in loneliness, but in healing. She met the man from the bookstore for coffee. Their conversation flowed with surprising ease, not rushing, not forcing, just letting God lead the pace. And each day, Elena walked forward with a renewed truth carved into her soul. I am loved. I am seen. I am held. Her final realization. One evening, as she watched a soft sunset paint the sky in warm colors, Elena whispered, I thought my tears were ruining my life, but now I see. They were shaping it. A soft breeze brushed her face, almost like an answer. She smiled, eyes glistening. Thank you, God, for the closed doors, for the open ones, for the pain, for the healing, for collecting every tear. And like a gentle echo from heaven, she felt these words settle in her spirit. Your tears were never wasted. They became the river that carried you into your purpose.